Hello and welcome everybody. Today we've got some lore teasers to show off. This time round in the form of a map, and that is Splitstone Quarry. I'm also going to touch on the Ruckus redesign to fit into this quarry and this map, and the fantasy setting in Paladins, and also the cinematic trailer they released as well. So first of all, let's break down this map and give some analysis of it. So if you look at the architecture, it is very goblin-esque. You've got mushroom-shaped water towers, you've got ramshackle buildings everywhere, and they're very pointy, and that is reminiscent of a lot of orcish or goblin-esque fantasy theme that you'd see in other games. It actually reminds me of a game where you play as goblin assassin Styx, which I played a little while ago. It just looks very higgledy-piggledy with windows boarded up, tiles missing on roofs and everything like that. Now, if we take a closer look at this map, there's actually a crescent here, and this map used to be called Grotto. I think it actually went through to Grotto version 2, and this here used to be able to fight on top of, and we'll get a closer view in a second of that. This map also has a centerpiece of this big saw, also very goblin-esque, and actually the redesign of Ruckus reminds me a bit of Timbersaw from Dota 2, but I'll come back to that a bit later, and that's almost like Timbersaw's arm. Anyway, actually you can see closer here, this is the area where you can stand on top of the ceiling. Before you used to be able to stand on the roofs over here, and there's a roof on the other side, and jump across if you had the movement ability to do it, and basically flank on this side and shoot down onto the point. But before, underneath these two walkways, it used to be that there was lots of cover here, so you couldn't really shoot in, so that people on this side were invulnerable. So I actually like now that they've opened it up, and there's a little bridge going across, but people that go in there and try and use it as cover only have cover from certain ranges, and even people shooting off the point, which is about here, are going to be able to shoot in. So that's a cool little addition. I have no idea where exactly this is, but again, goblin architecture, very spiky, almost like a mouth on this forge, although it also looks a bit like a fireplace because it's got like the mantle on there. Very orky goblin-y sort of architecture and design, and also like leather banners hanging over the gateways. It's pretty interesting. I don't remember where that was in the map though. This is another big part for the lore. These look a lot like the old Ruckus in the design, because the new look Ruckus is very beefed up, but they are very similar to the Ruckus mech suit. Now Ruckus is being referred to as a miner in these mines, and what this does is it shows that Ruckus isn't completely special in the fact that he can use these machines. But obviously when you look at Ruckus redesign, which I'll come back to, it is a very beefed up version of these mining mechanisms or whatever they are. So these maps on the walls, I can't see exactly what they are. I've tried to zoom in on them as well using a image software. They almost look like a flying castle, and these ones look like flying machines, but I could be wrong. These could be siege engines or something like that. And there's all like these work stations for, I guess, where the goblins come in, bring in their work briefcase and come in and take it out whenever they log in or log out of the work. There's also drill bits over here which I guess they take with the mechs and go mine with. All in all, this is a pretty cool little theme down here. Again, this is where it looks like a minecart would go. I have no idea where this part of the map is. I really can't place it, trying to remember where we played on Grotto version 2. There are lots of areas with levels of attack, so that was part of the old Grotto 2 version 2 level. There was lots of areas around the point, because the point's over here, and there were lots of areas to shoot down onto the point and get into higher levels, but all around the map. And on a lot of other maps it's just on one side, which I guess is shaking things up a bit. And look, you can see in the background there's, maybe that is a furnace or some sort of smelting place over there. There's a cool little coal symbol or mining cart on that side. When we come here, this is another interesting part, because there's got some, is this goblin language or is it actually a 901? I'm guessing not. What this is symbolizing, I'm guessing, is not to touch this machine over this side, which I'll go further onto. But there's a cool little symbol. I thought maybe there might have been some sort of slavery with the goblins, maybe they're being forced into this mine, but actually I think it's probably a mine run by the goblins, and this is just a sign. But you can see the humour of the goblins, because it's just such a silly slapdash sign to put up there. Just don't touch these massive Fully one of the people that commented on my Twitter post where I did a bogus lore as well myself, saying that Ruckus was confirmed a goblin slave working in Leon's kingdom mines and wanting to get freedom, and that's why he took the mech out. He broke free. Probably bogus lore right there. But Fubbles McBubble said a goblin slave's being forced to manufacture fidget spinners, and that's what these are, so you can actually see them in action. I guess they do look a bit like fidget spinners. And that's pretty much the map. You can actually see here where you enter the building with the saw over the top of it. This is the point, and either side you can go in, and I mean there's cover in between, and I guess this is why they've got this almost triangle in the front, but it gives a lot of ways to fire in for people that are in the point, so they're not completely pinned down by people hiding in here. These little carts are actually very similar to the last test map, the siege map in OB53. They had these on the point as well in that test map. So this goes on after everyone's posed, and we can go see the Ruckus Reveal. This is the cheeky chappy, the goblin himself, and it looked like it was number 5 before. This looks very similar to one of the mechs, maybe modified to be a bit more mega, but I don't think that much has changed from before, apart from there's like more of a wooden motif, and this little angry sort of, it is very goblin styled actually, more fancy goblins, something you expect in Warhammer. It's very cool as well. I guess that just does fit Ruckus in there. It does look pretty cool, and it really fits that he has this map now. Basically it's just a nice little touch to have that extra bit of lore in the realm, and it's just a step forward in giving meaning to playing the game. Just all these little bits of lore, they add up and make the gameplay more meaningful, and it just makes you feel that you're in somewhere special and that the place that you're fighting in actually has some significance. The next thing we're going to break down is the trailer Paladins released alongside this in DreamHack. I don't think it actually shows a lot, it's just Lex here fighting the Androxus, shooting him down. He comes down. I like this lighting effect actually, the shadow on him was pretty cool, and the animation of him walking there. But damn, Zin comes in the way, because maybe, just maybe, they've got some sort of relation going on there. Are they brothers? Are they just in the same faction? I think maybe this time round it's showing the sort of more evil champions going against Lex, the lore man, which I mean Lex just means lore in Latin, but then again Maeve was a bit of a grey character in the fact that she's a pickpocket, but maybe she's good. I don't know whether Paladins are trying to go for this angle of good versus bad, but maybe it's just trying to get too much from this trailer. I just think they're trying to put out something that's like cool and eye-catching. But anyway, that's pretty much what Paladins have released and hi-rez have released to tease on what's coming next. I do think it's cool that they're adding little bits of lore, and there's some interesting theories about what happened to Ruckus. Why did he try and break out of the mining, or did he break out, or did he just make his own mech and then travelled to the Paladins realm to fight with whatever is happening in the Paladins realm? I think the big question for us all is having some sort of backbone of a story or something we can relate to, or some idea of how the world works and what exactly in the world is. Are they fighting in arenas for fame, for glory, for money? Or are these fights more representative of fights in the real world and their clashes between heroes of each faction, and is that what's happening in every fight? We don't really know that yet. That's I guess what we're holding out on, but these little touches of lore adding to the character's meaning and the meaning of playing in the maps is good, and more characters' backstory, more characters' progression is always great. I do think they probably got rid of the old Ruckus lore with the fact that he used to have a flavor text saying that he stole an Elven King's sword and melted it down to make Ruckus, because obviously we saw those old bodies of the mechs, and maybe that still happened. Maybe he found the sword or found something in the mines and then forged that into his new mech, and maybe that's why it's special. But that's a little bit of speculation right there. What does everybody else think about these additions? Do you think it's cool that they're adding more lore gradually to the game? Or as I've seen in some of my comments, people are like, we need a story, we need a backbone, we need it now, sort of thing. And hopefully that will come at some point too. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you all very much for watching. Joshino.